All right.
Hey,
Good
hey.
morning, everyone. It's the 29th of December, 2025. We have just a couple more days in 2025.
And
Yeah.
today is my mother's birthday, by the way. Just happy
Ah,
birthday to Maria.
happy
And
birthday,
let's
Maria.
see, she'd be 102,
Oh,
103.
wow. She's
Oh
almost
She
wow.
as old
lived to
as me.
93. Almost.
So something strange is happening and it's not streaming to your YouTube, my YouTube, or Dr. Nelson's YouTube. It's only streaming to Dave Mack's YouTube. So I'm gonna try to figure that out over here while we keep streaming.
Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
it's all good. It's all okay. It's all
All
good in
righty.
this
It's all
country.
okay.
So please put in the
Live.
chat where you're watching from. Uh, if you have any comments or questions, put them in the chat and hashtag KMT for our giveaway of
A Kilt Health t-shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
nice.
right. All right. All
Awesome.
right. Well,
And
it's been reported that Dave Mack has interviewed more carnivores in this world than anyone else, and I it is. Are you seeing? And maybe you could comment, Dave, and yeah, about is this carnivore world expanding?
I think so. There seems to be no shortage of new carnivores. There is a lot of interest, and it's justified interest because it works. People feel better. And when people are eating a certain way that makes them feel better, that that really helps the word to spread easily.
Do would you say that a scientific study is required and modern medicine and science and nutritional science needs to get a hold of this and prove it before it'll really expand in the proper way?
Um, I would say, yeah. I mean, there's basically from when you're born and you get off breast milk and you start eating the veggies and all that kind of thing, you're indoctrinated into a system, right? And you're told that the science says you need to eat the veggies. The science says you need to eat this many fruits a day, and it's got to be balanced, and it's got to be this, and it's got to be that, right? So, for the wider public to really feel like it's a thing they can do, there would have to be some kind of mainstream media, mainstream medicine kind of backing for it, I think. But it won't stop the growth, but it just hinders the growth.
Yeah, well, I'm convinced that science is no more accurate than marketing by the major corporations to sell us products because the science is sugar centric and
Yes.
anti-fat, and so I'm just curious, and in so many ways I see carnivores as sort of considering this hard science, like there is a truth to science at all. But ultimately, science has really developed over the last few hundred years.
Right.
But even in the last few thousand years, it's been sugar centric and alcohol centric and control centric.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I see the movement in people like yourself and sharing the wisdom of people's experience as more powerful than any scientific publication that we will ever see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean that people's experiences, people's lived experiences, the results they get from the food they put in their mouth is ultimately what drives it, and what is convincing people of the benefits of it. It's like you don't say to a lion, "Hey, you should be eating a balanced diet with some lettuce in there as well." some spinach leaves would do you good. You know, the lion would look at you like, I don't care what your science says. I'm eating my, I don't know, alpaca that I've just killed or whatever, you know.
And in your years of sharing the stories around the globe, what have been some of the most powerful observations that you've gleaned from this?
Um, I, I think, I think the most powerful thing really is that your body can heal itself. And we're indoctrinated into this thinking that your body can't heal itself, you need medication, you know, which makes no sense. We see like we see our body healing on the outside, and we think if we want it to heal on the inside, we need to go to the doctor and get a prescription. And when you look at it like that, it kind of doesn't make sense, right? If the body can heal itself, it's probably pretty good at healing internally. And you know, finding out that you can heal a lot of things just by eating the right foods is it's a revelation. It's yeah, it should be kind of easier to kind of accept that for most people, but it until you experience it, it isn't. And you know, people are told, "Oh, you've got type 2 diabetes. Just live with it. Here's some metformin." And once it gets worse, you just move on to insulin. And that's all right. You can eat whatever you want. You know, you just gotta jab yourself with insulin. And it doesn't need to be that way.
I have two questions, Dave.
Mm.
Why did you decide to start the carnivore diet, and what was the most unexpected benefit?
The reason I started was because I had pre-diabetes and I was an alcoholic, and I'd been confronted about those two things by my doctor, and hearing it from my doctor, it was like, okay, I knew I had a problem with alcohol. I knew I had a problem with eating junk food and whatever. So I needed to do something about it. But hearing it from the doctor, it was like, okay, it's time to do something. I don't want to be back here in a year and, you know, here it's going to be even worse. And so the reason I started was to control those two things. But I started keto initially because that's what I knew. But I did know that keto gave me self-control. So I thought, well, that's probably the way to go to get self-control. And as I went into that, I had some problems, did some research, realized that the problems were probably the veggies, found a lot of people like Dr. Berry, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, all saying, well, actually, you don't need to eat veggies. And I thought, well, I'm not married to the vegetables. I'm only eating them because people tell me I need my phytonutrients. So I'm just going to give them up and see if things improve. And they did. And yeah, so it was for pre-diabetes and alcoholism. But the most unexpected change for me was, I think my limp improving. That was I have a weaker right side and a limp, because I had a stroke when I was 17. And, those things improved for me. Like, I got stronger on my right side, my legs started to, um it didn't drag as much. My balance is better. I can stand on my right leg for longer now, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that was an unexpected change.
Dave, if you went to the doctor with poison ivy and he said, here's a prescription for steroids for the rest of your life, Would that make sense to us today?
If I
Poison ivy
no,
disease, which there isn't one. It's essentially, again, we're basically poisoned by plants, and the fix is drugs for the rest of our lives, not remove the poison ivy.
yeah.
And
Well,
ultimately, isn't that simply conundrum to all of this?
yeah. So yeah, the answer would be no to the steroids and just remove whatever the poison is, you know?
And
The same as with type 2 diabetes. No to the metformin, take out the sugar.
and there are sugars in all animal cells and plant cells, but would you say take away the meat or take away the plants?
Take away the plants. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's but it's you know, it seems so straightforward when we say it and when we're talking, right? But for just, you know, the the average person going about their day, it seems so ridiculous. Like if someone happened upon this live stream and they'd never heard of carnivore before, and we're talking about, you know, plants are trying to kill you and all that kind of thing, like they would think, what have I gone into the twilight zone here? What's going on?
It's the matrix, and we're taking the wrong pill, basically. I mean, that's kind of what's happened. And yet, you know, what's amazing, yourself and Dr. Nelson and Ali and so many people here on this same journey, but they're also interviewing others and sharing their stories online. I was on with Stephanie, George, and John yesterday, and you know, it's this. You tell a friend, they tell a friend, they tell a friend. It's sort of this expansive concept idea, secondary to social media, which is really changing lives more than any scientific America or journal is ever going to do.
Right. So I think that carnivore kind of has the same momentum that I saw with the Atkins diet more than 2 decades ago. So when more than 2 decades ago, like everyone was poo-pooing Atkins, right? His book had just been republished, and it was really big on TV because everyone was doing it, and it was good for views on, you know, current affairs shows and all that kind of thing. And but people were doing it and seeing that it worked for them. And so it was just getting momentum like that. And I see carnivore the same way, but the difference with carnivore that, you know, Atkins didn't have 2.5 decades ago was social media and the ability for us to talk about it like this and for people to go, I'm going to give it a go. And, you know, if someone gives it a good try for 90 days, there's very few people going to go, yeah, don't like this feeling healthy stuff. I'm going back to the I'm going back to the carbs.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we can't. I mean, trademarking carnivore diet is kind of it's been usurped by God a long time ago. And although I'm sure someone's going to try to do it, it's such a masterful concept. It gets back to our ancient rights and truth and reality of who and what we are.
Mm.
And maybe that's why it's so powerful. I've been playing with AI, and boy, it fights tooth and nail on glucose is your energy first, and that you need a balanced diet,
Mm.
and you know that pushback that we're seeing by the system, but the more I play with it, the more it goes. You know, yeah, you're right, Kiltz, Dave Mack and Dr. Nelson. Ali, you know, you guys are. This is really magical,
Mm.
and I know for myself at 55, you know, I played with keto and before that paleo, before that Atkins, and it was carnivore that, you know, created the simplicity of this concept, and the growth and creation of it.
Dave, what do you tell people who say this is a very restrictive type of way of eating?
I'm stealing this from someone else, and I can't remember who said it. But if someone tells me carnivore is restrictive, I say not as restrictive as type 2 diabetes, not as restrictive as MS. Those things are way more restrictive.
Your wife usually doesn't say it's okay to have a girlfriend on the side, does she?
No.
No. Straight as an arrow will hit the target. A wandering variety. It's just like have 5 boyfriends or girlfriends at one time and see where that gets you. Right? This idea of variety and abundance and balance. Right? It's like I've got girlfriends here and a wife over here. It's well balanced.
Well, so I think that a lot of the terms like balance, I feel like that's the doctor slash nutritionist slash dietitian's get out of jail free card. It's like, because when you say you have to eat a balanced diet, that's like there's no definition required. When you say it's you're just putting an idea into someone's head, and then they interpret it the way they want. It's eat five serves of vegetables a day or something like that, right? So what vegetables are going to be the right ones that I should be eating? No one defines any of this stuff. And so it's just these arbitrary kind of slogans that they throw out at us.
Well, it's kind of like the idea of healthy diet, essentially, because the word healthy is actually a misnomer. Also, that's a
Right.
marketing term. Anyway, it has
Yeah.
really little to no truth in reality.
Yeah. There's so much of that stuff. Really, it's just it's we're just fed that same thing all our lives, and unless you're faced with a situation where you need to question it, like maybe you're really sick and you've tried everything and nothing helps you, so you're looking for an alternative, that's the only time that you kind of say, well, is this balance thing really working for me? Is this 5 a day thing really working for me?
Yeah, and is our obesity problem really a pathologic condition of humans, or is it a master manipulation of the message to humans that is convinced us all that it's our problem, we're broken, and has nothing to do with a healthy diet?
Yeah. And this it all kind of has been a bit weird in the last few years as well, right? Because we had this moment in time where it was like healthy at any size. You can be 56,000 pounds and you can make it onto the cover of Cosmopolitan. It's like, because healthy at any size, and then like you weren't allowed to say like maybe you need to change your diet, or maybe you need to consider not eating as much of this stuff and kind of eat more whole foods or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden Ozempic appears, and suddenly healthy at any size is not a thing anymore. It's like, all the people that were proud of their size are now like rushing to Ozempic. So we're living in this really weird time but I think we're probably freer now to talk about diet as an impact in people's health.
Well, someone who's considered obese could go carnivore, and in 2 to 4 weeks, they'll feel more amazing than ever, despite having lost very little weight. And I
Right.
always say that fat is never the cause of disease. It's the food you've been eating that's the cause of disease. And by simply switching to fasting and carnivore, you'll feel better instantly.
Yeah.
And if there's a famine, or migration, hibernation, or gestation, I mean, so many animals get massively fat in order to hibernate, gestate, and survive the winter.
Right.
And I mean, am I going to survive New Year's Day and Christmas? Well, Christmas Day, everything shut down. I mean, it was a massive heart attack for some people that they couldn't get to the market to get
Right.
pizza or pasta or bread.
Right. So, on that kind of thing, Dr. Kiltz or Dr. Nelson or Alia, do you ever have like these moments where, like, if it is Christmas Day, you'll kind of relax a little bit, or are you pretty strict all the time?
I'm a strict human being all the time.
You're always strict? Yeah.
I will eat a Christmas cookie,
Right.
and I don't lose my shirt over it.
Right.
But these are infrequent experiences, and
Mhm.
so that's my strength. And I think our biggest problem is we've made Christmas every day, holidays every day,
Right.
birthday every day, celebration every day, and
Yeah.
so our ability to wander this world and be strong has been riddled with celebrations,
Yeah.
and that's our problem. It's
Mm.
the party store in the is open all the time.
Yeah. So I'll often, do an interview with a carnivore, and they'll talk about like they had that one Christmas cookie, and they'll look kind of like so ashamed when they're telling you. And it's like, just because you had one, that doesn't mean, you have to hand in your carnivore card. It's just like, relax a little bit. If it's like, you don't have to be kind of if I'm not 100% of the time, then I'm not a carnivore. But for me personally, the reason I am 100% of the time is because I know myself. And I would say, like, someone like me is the only type of person that has to be strict all the time, and that's because I know as soon as there's something sweet or a little bit of crunch or something like that, it's all over. I'm under the box of Krispy Kreme donuts then.
Yeah, and I mean, I think mindset is critical. I mean, we drive cars, fly airplanes, walk across streets, and live with another human being, and these are all dangerous things. And
Mm.
so, yeah, everyone's got to sort of put their why together and how together and master their life. That's the
Mm.
beauty of this. There is variety how we approach
Mm.
all of our lives and our ability to do this, but I think being very strict in your strength and in our ability to, like, oh, that was good, thanks, a bite, or no thanks, I don't,
Mm.
I'm going to bypass on that. I think this is what's really powerful and beautiful about this world of
Mm.
carnivore.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways to do this, and do you incorporate fasting much into your life? Do you recommend it or talk about it? And have you heard much in the world of carnivore and fasting?
I do, and I would say about 40% of the people I interview, a very rough estimate, is they probably do some level of fasting. For me, it's just kind of, I'm basically fasting 23 hours a day. And so I'll have breakfast and I don't eat again, you know. But I'm not doing it like kind of, you must fast kind of thing, right? So if I get to the afternoon and I'm like, you know what, I could go another couple of eggs or something, then I'll have it. It's just, for me, it's more about convenience than anything else.
Dr. Kilt, we have today, of course, a very popular guest, and we have a bunch of questions accumulating. So let's take a few of those, in particular for Dave. Alia, please.
Okay. Let's see. Rick Rodriguez would like to know why you chose him to interview.
Because you're like the OG carnivore, Rick. You can't do interviews without interviewing you. Like you're number one. So yeah,
100%.
you're at the top
100%.
of my podcast list, Rick.
And just in case someone's watching and doesn't know, Rick has been carnivore for now 42 years, correct, Rick?
I think
Next.
43, 1983, the year I was born.
Plus,
Okay.
plus, and I don't know anyone else that specializes in iguanas.
Yeah, I
And
still
Scooby
I would
Ducks.
love to. If I ever get to Florida, I'm gonna try an iguana.
All right, next
Uh,
question, please.
Carnivore Farm Mom. What do you say to people that attack carnivore for being bad for thyroid over time? Thank you.
I love you.
What do you think, Dave?
So people will attack carnivore for any reason, you know. Like I would just say, if your thyroid's not doing good because you're on, and you feel it's because you're on carnivore, then you need to, you know, maybe go and see your doctor, maybe do some tests, work out what the cause is. But you know, majority of carnivores are not walking around with thyroid problems. So
Yeah.
you know,
I had Dr. Amy Horneman less than 2 weeks ago. She deals a lot with thyroid, and she explained why it is a myth. So people who are saying carnivore is the one that tanked their thyroid, I don't know. I haven't found that a problem, and she explained why.
right. So
Next. Okay.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So from the interviews I've done, when people have had thyroid problems prior to coming into carnivore, carnivore seems to either resolve the thyroid problem or make it much, much less of a problem.
Correct.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Plants are goitrogens. Plants, all of them, damage the thyroid gland, and they cause tumors and disruption in every cell of our body.
Tell a friend I helped hundreds best buddy down 200 pounds in 14 months. That's
Oh,
not a
nice.
question, but I wanted to put that up there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're Mike, 59. Awesome. Right.
Karen, do you know of other carnivores in Japan?
Yes, I've interviewed one Japanese carnivore who lives in Yokohama, and I've met up with two carnivores in Osaka, but they're not Japanese. One of them's a one of them's a New Zealander, and the other one is Italian.
We have a frequent member of. Actually, we had two of them, but I know Setsuko sometimes is here, and she's from Japan. Have you interviewed Setsuko?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, I'd love to.
I'll have to get you guys connected.
Dr. Kiltz?
So it's been reported that the Japanese tend to live longer, and I'm curious about your observation about health in Japan, and why their diet may be a factor, their lifestyle may be a factor, or you're noticing the same problems in Japan as the rest of the world.
So there are the same problems here that there are in the rest of the world. However, it's on a slower growth curve than it is, say, in Australia or in the US or in Canada. And part of that is Japan imports things much slower than other countries, you know. and assimilates new practices and new food processing and all that kind of thing much more slowly. And so there is a kind of an obesity problem starting to raise its head here, but it's in the kind of, you see it more in the elementary school age group at the moment. It's not so much in adults. Having said that, I think people in Japan live longer and live healthier lives more because of culture rather than because of the types of food they're eating. Because I mean, they eat a lot of carbs. They eat rice and they eat a lot of plants and stuff, but they also eat a lot of meat. So part of it could be like maybe a balancing out thing, but a lot of it is culture. They have a thing called hara hachibu, which is, stop eating once you feel 80% full. There is also like this kind of stigma that would be assigned to someone if they were kind of sitting at a dinner table kind of, and they were obviously eating a lot more than everyone else, because Japan's a very harmony kind of country, so people don't like to stand out. So for all these kind of reasons culturally, I think that kind of helps Japan keep the weight down.
Do they eat less? So eat less amounts, less frequently, walk more, and eat
Yeah.
more meat. Just eating more meat is big. And do they eat fish and pork
Right.
a lot also?
Yeah. So they eat a lot of fish and pork. And speaking of pork, this is one of the funny things because apparently Okinawa is a blue zone, right? So I interviewed an Australian guy who lived in Okinawa a long time ago, and he was we were joking about how it's classified as a blue zone, and he said all these people, all these kind of people that are into yoga and all this kind of thing, they come to Okinawa thinking it's going to be a blue zone and they're going to just be eating vegetarian meals and blah blah blah. It's not like that at all. And the interesting thing is you can look this stuff up on Google Images and whatever. You can search on things like Okinawa market and Okinawa arcades and all this kind of thing, right? And there is so much pork for sale in these places, right? It's extremely meat based. They do eat plants and they eat rice and whatever, but it's heavily meat based. This blue zones thing is absolute rubbish.
It's a marketing ploy once again, like healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, someone else is making money out of it. It's nothing to do with health.
Well, the healthy word concept is so marketable in this world, and people are looking for something fast and a pill, a shot, or surgery, or some fancy special diet. That is one of our biggest challenges. I was recently I had a CT angiogram and CAC score a little elevated, not significant technically, and I have no symptoms. I did well. I might have mentioned that I'm starting on a little bit of salmon, and I might have mentioned broccoli, and the plant world took that as global carnivore changes his tune and adds plants to his diet. Getting sicker but a little bit of clickbait in all of that anyway for all of us, right?
Right. Just imagine the plant-based advocates of the world losing their mind because it's like this person that eats, 21 steaks a week is adding a stick of broccoli. It's
right. Well, that's kind of it, and a little bit was because, and I don't know what you're thinking about this, and there's such polarization in our concepts between carnivore and herbivores. It's yesterday I was in my work with George and Stephanie and John, the discussion of how many people that are just eating more meat are coming into the community, even though they're still considered omnivores. And Schlenk wrote the book "Eat Meat 3 Times a Day" back in the 40s, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on how mindfulness and fasting or less food and adding meat to the diet, fatty meat like pork, and it would be something to really help us expand the power of eating meat in our diets.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, like what I think about like just talking about adding the fatty meat.
Yeah. So, just recognizing that adding meat to the diet, and one of our biggest problems is everyone's eating lean meat.
Oh,
They're
yes,
not eating
yes.
fatty meat. And
Mm.
by adding fatty meat to their diet, eating less frequently, and maybe not being so abundant on the food, less processed, is there a space for that? Because keto
Uh,
kind of gets people feeling better, also.
yeah. I think definitely, like I think for, I mean, I know for myself, when I did Atkins, um, I was doing it like I was doing chicken breast Atkins, lean beef
Mhm.
Atkins,
Yep.
and like because no matter what happens, unless someone smacks you over the head and says, "Oi, eat some fatty stuff," you're programmed to eat that way, right? And
Yeah.
all, and I was programmed in a way that I didn't like it at all. Like, if when I was a kid, my mum would cook me bacon, and I'd just like, I'd cut the eye of the meat off the bacon and throw away everything else, because it's like, I'm not touching that fat. Um, and so basically, a lot of people who are, say, doing Atkins, keto, that kind of thing, they're in a effect, they're almost starving themselves because they're probably eating lean meats. If they could be encouraged to eat more fatty meat with their diet, it would be advantageous for them, definitely.
Well, right, because really what you're doing is you're encouraging protein poisoning and rabbit starvation. And
Mm.
I think it's the same because no matter what restaurant you go to, you get a Wagyu steak, it still is leaner than what we would be hunting and killing and eating in nature, in the
Right.
sense that we would want to eat the fat. But I see many carnivores that cut the fat away and still minimize the fat. But it's the fat that is the building block, the
Mm.
fuel, and it suppresses the microbes in the gut.
And the thing is, the one thing that people really should get their heads around, whether they're doing carnivore or some other level of ketovore, is the fat is so important, not just because of the nutrient density, but because it's what's going to make you feel satiated. That's what's going to stop you feeling like going back to the kitchen an hour later to look for something else to eat.
Yeah, the fat is the part that, I always say the single leading problem is a low fat diet. And
Mm.
we would be much healthier because even if you go back, you know, 50 years, not even that far, the in the 70s it began, but really to see it, but it was lean meat was
Mm.
the biggest culprit. And
Mm.
by going high fat, which was our standard butcher, you weren't getting the leanest of meat, and that's maybe our single biggest culprit in the world is a
Mm.
lean meat diet, and then the snack world and the constant feeding world, food
Right.
is delivered easily, overabundance essentially.
Yeah. I remember my stepfather telling me when he grew up, they had very little money as they were growing up, big family, that kind of thing. And he would talk about how they didn't have all that much to eat and they'd end up like scraping the beef dripping out of the oven and eating that. And look, thinking about it now, I'm thinking, actually, you were eating the right thing back then, even though it was because you had no money, you were still eating the right thing.
We have a question.
Yeah, should we take a
Dave?
few more of these? Rockin' Coach Jamie. How hard was quitting the alcohol? Did, in your opinion, carnivore make quitting alcohol easier?
Yes. So the reason I decided to go ketogenic as soon as I heard about heard the doctor telling me what I knew, and that I needed to stop the alcohol, was because it gives you self-control. I think whenever you've got ketones fired up in your body, that's when you have a really strong self-control, or at least that's my experience anyway. And that helped me, but I had to do that in conjunction with making sure that I wasn't triggering myself throughout the day for the first few weeks, few months. And that was, I'd be walking to work and I'd have to take the long way around so that I wasn't walking past, because I started work in the afternoon. So I wasn't walking past the open bar or something on the way to work, or, on the way home. I had to avoid walking past the convenience store where I could walk in. I used to walk in every night and buy a big can of beer to go home on the train with, and all that kind of thing. So it was a combination, but definitely it was the self-control with carnivore that was probably the biggest thing.
And part of our problem in this world is basically this bud's for you. I mean, we're basically all directed that, alcohol's good. And even to pregnant lactating women, the American College of OBGYN says a glass of wine a day is okay.
Oh, wow.
And we're marketed into misery, essentially.
Mm.
And that's our biggest problem. And ketones, by the way, show up because of a low sugar environment. And so the real trick is plant sugars are highly addictive because they're meant to be, because it gets us fat. But they weren't available. Here I am up in Princeton, and the snow's on the ground, and all the plants are pretty much in hibernation. There are a few little holly berries and other berries on the plants, but I'm sure they're probably not good for us if we decided
Right.
to just pick them and eat them.
Yeah. As you say, the sugars are doing their job. They're fattening us up, but we never had the abundance that we do now. We didn't. we were never meant to be able to walk into the kitchen and choose from 100 different boxes of stuff.
Cereals. We're serial killers.
So speaking of cereal, I was going through my emails today, and I found a photo of a box of cereal. I think it was a British interviewee had emailed to me, and it's Kit Kat cereal. This is how far we've fallen. We're eating Kit Kat cereal for breakfast and going, that's part of a nutritious start to the day. It's mental.
It is incredible that Fruit Loops and actually any cereal with skim milk in the morning just first of all sets you up for failure for the rest of the day and the hunger cycle. But it is stupid if you think that loading yourself up with sugar in the morning is going to be healthy for you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And it's like parents are giving their kids this stuff and going, why can they never concentrate? This is, they can't focus on anything.
That's crazy. Can I just say one thing real quick? My son on
No.
Saturday was like, I want to fast. And he's
Oh.
like, I'm going to eat at lunchtime. And guess what? He ate dinner and then he fasted. He's 9. He fasted at lunchtime. He was reading his books all morning. Total concentration on reading.
Wow.
Yeah. And it all like, I didn't even have to ask him. He's like, I'm just going to read my books this morning.
Strength.
That's awesome.
Strength in doing something really biblical, which is fasting. And I always say fat and fasting. Add fat and fasting to your routine. I don't care if you're a carnivore, an herbivore, or an omnivore. It'll make you feel better than ever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Next.
The strong carnivorous. Dave, what is your plan or vision for 2026 to continue the growth and spreading the word about your amazing lifestyle?
G'day, Louise. So I would like to have a plan. I would like to have a vision for the channel, but basically, I'm doing everything on my own. And so I'm so far down in the weeds, just kind of interviewing and then knocking an interview out, editing it up and that kind of thing. And then, following up with people and arranging meetings and stuff to do more interviews that I haven't really sat down and thought about it. Yeah. It feels like, I'm kind of spinning plates and stuff and haven't.
Let's see. What do you all think of GLP-1 for sugar carbohydrate addiction?
Another addiction.
Yeah, I feel it just feels to me like it's just another kind of something like a statin, it's really just there to make money for big pharma. It's not for the benefit of humanity,
It's another. Go ahead, doctor.
It seems that going on a very low carbohydrate diet or carnivore diet has helped a lot of people with their self label of addiction. And you cannot argue with so many anecdotes, although there seems to be some growing scientific evidence as well. But yourself included, have used this type of way of eating to help with the addictions, right?
Yeah. I would definitely be using carnivore as a first step to try and get over addictions to things. Because, as I say, it's self-control. It's good for self-control.
It re-establishes the nature of who we are: strong, powerful, and capable of everything and anything. And the addicted diet we've been given basically makes us addicted to the drugs and the doctors, the dissections and more. And this is why it's important to share this in our, I write about it and talk about it at work and when I go to meetings, and it's always about, hey, the cause of all disease is your dietary advice, and that's our problem. But we can also think about carnivore as a therapeutic modality first.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, g'day, Mitch. I just saw that message that's on screen.
Yeah. We have
we ever hit 300, Alia, in the morning?
With Dave. With Dave.
What's that?
Dr. Nelson asked if we ever hit 300 on the live stream, and I said with Dave. With Dave.
Oh, wow. We got to 300.
We're almost there.
Oh, wow.
We're almost there.
Let's see. Carnivore Farm Mom, why are carbs claimed to be the good feeling mood micronutrients, but they make me anxious and depressed?
I guess they're claimed to be because the more you buy them, the more big business makes money.
Well, and think about it. When we use the word carbohydrate, none of these foods are natural to the human evolution, and they're all basically they've micronized the plant products, which essentially deliver heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine-like substances, and alcohol to us all day, all night. And they are good feeling, mood altering drugs. Essentially, marijuana is good for us, right? Alcohol is good for us, right? It's that's our problem. It's good for the people who make the money and make us miserable and then sick and require either hospitalizations or some other highly expensive treatment that usually makes us addicted to something else.
I always like to think about it like this. In a food company, the food scientists are only there to make us want to eat more of whatever food they're working on. And that's a good enough reason not to eat it, I think.
Right.
Dave, what do you think in general about ultra processed foods? And when we go to supermarket, that's about 95% of what's available on the store. But what are your thoughts about ultra processed foods?
I see it as poison when I walk into the supermarket, and like if my daughter says, "Oh, look at this thing I got," I'm just like, "Oh God, don't eat that, please." But I also think regarding ultra processed foods, the tobacco companies bought all the food companies. Yeah, I think when they did that, they probably started running the food businesses after the takeover, and they're probably sitting looking at themselves and thinking, why did we struggle all these years trying to sell a product that we had to kind of do underhanded things to kind of addict teenagers and whatever to the product, when we could have just been selling this perfectly legal product the whole time that's more easy to get people addicted. Yeah. So
Yeah, they haven't stopped doing the underhanded stuff.
Money is the master.
Yeah.
When we realize it shouldn't be our master, it should be our brothers or sisters, our children's children's children. That's what we should all be working to heal and help. And by the way, I'm not against eating plants because I have a lot of plant-based friends. What I highly recommend is add the fat, eat less frequently, and cook the plants well to minimize or eliminate the toxins. But carnivore is the top of the line and the very best, I think, because nobody's allergic to ribeye steak.
No.
Right.
So that comment that's on screen at the moment from Mr. Dunham, I believe the processed foods are the primary issue in US health. I would maybe add on to that I agree, yes, they are. But the second part of the problem is the fact that the general public has been miseducated and believe that a lot of those processed foods are actually good for them because they're no cholesterol or low fat.
And fortified.
Yes. Yeah. It's got lots of iron in it, so it must be good.
Fortified with synthetic stuff to make you believe that you're eating your nutritional daily allowance of whatever vitamin or mineral.
Yeah, we're masterfully manipulated by the message for thousands of years to control the those that are easily manipulated. So the explorers exploit the exploitable, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Marketed to misery.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yep. Don't even
Um,
trust me. You guys got to do your own research and own experimentation. But
right.
you know, I've got so many men and women conceiving on a carnivore diet, and think about all the diseases are essentially got to be from our diet. Now, our that DNA has something to do with it, but it's a minor player.
Right. So what you just said there, Dr. Keltz, is something that I think is one of the nicest things about carnivore is that, you can say, don't trust me, just go and try it yourself. I'm not trying to sell you a meal plan. I'm not trying to sell you some ebook that'll tell you how to eat a steak. Just go and buy the stuff and try it for yourself and prove to yourself that whether it works or not. It's very nice to be able to do that.
What would you
Tia,
advise to someone who's listening and is carnivore curious? What will be your first step or your advice on how to do it?
My advice is always take a day at a time. Because I think when we're about to embark on something new, we've got this really, really good way of going, okay, I'm going to do carnivore for the rest of my life. And then immediately then you rush out to the grocery store and you buy all the ribeyes and you come home and then you immediately look and think, how am I going to do this for the rest of my life? I've never done anything for the rest of my life before. I've always given up and not followed through on anything I've done before. How am I actually going to do this? And you start to question yourself so much, you end up talking yourself out of doing it. Right. And so, what I would say is don't think about, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do this for the next month, the next week, anything like that. Just think about, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to get to bed tonight without going off plan. And what happens is you wake up the next morning and you instantly have two feelings. Those feelings are, I feel better. And the second feeling is, I did it. And those two feelings up your resolve a little bit so that it's much easier for you to get through the next day. And then every single day, you just focus on getting through that day. And you never start projecting out like, I'm going to do this for the next year or anything like that. And after a while, it just gets to the point where it's just, this is the way you eat now. You're not thinking about short-term, long-term, anything. You're just thinking, I'm carnivore. I eat this way.
There we go. Here's a question. Raymundo. Is carnivore okay for someone who had a recent prostatectomy?
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV, and haven't interviewed anyone who's had a prostatectomy and then done carnivore. So
well, are you a human being?
Yes.
Is carnivore good for human beings?
Yes. Well, yeah.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, I don't care what the diagnosis is. I mean, would we feed a lion who has a broken leg a vegetarian diet?
Well, that's when they get grapes, right?
Yes.
Grapes and bananas.
Lied to by the lions.
Let's see. There was a question I wanted to ask. There's a bunch of questions, but let's take this last one. By the way, 306. Thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us. Scott Ellis, what advice would you give for starting my 14-year-old son on carnivore? He has Tourette syndrome.
Based on the people I've spoken to, I would say just get started. You might notice improvements in your Tourette's. I've had people say they have had that. And also, if it's your 14-year-old, just says 14-year-old, not 14-year-old son. But if it's your 14-year-old, he has, yeah.
Oh,
I would focus on the muscle side of it, because he's getting to that age where he's going to be thinking about how he looks and that kind of thing. And there's nothing better than being a teenage boy and hearing like you could put on muscle without really trying.
Yeah.
there we go. Oh, we got to do the giveaway.
And
No rush. No rush. No
Oh, we're not.
rush.
Oh, okay.
No
Should we take
rush.
advantage of this
whoever
question?
is asking this question, if you haven't read the books by Dr. Christopher Palmer, Brain Energy, and Dr. Georgia Eads, Change Your Diet, Change Your
Diet.
Mind,
Mm.
they're both very good. And there are a lot of new studies coming out past several years, several on metabolic psychiatry and everything that has to do with our brain seems to get better.
Mm.
All disease seems to get better on carnivore,
Mhm.
faith, and fasting.
Mm.
So even on a low carb, high fat diet, or if you go carnivore, emphasize the fatty meats, because it seems that all the brain related stuff is even better when you're producing more ketones.
Mm.
Which is a lower glucose, lower sugar environment, basically.
Mm.
But if you're not eating any carbs, your ketones will be even better when it's a high fat diet.
Mm.
It rests the liver.
Mm.
All right. So, how many more questions should we get to?
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's
take
do
this
two
one.
more. Two more, Dave. That'd be all right. You hang out a couple more minutes.
Cool bananas.
All right.
Okay. Dave, what do you do about social eating after breakfast at home? Do you sit with your wife and daughter at dinner?
Typically no, because I'm working when they're having dinner, and that's that's kind of a normal thing that happens in Japan. Usually, like there's one parent out of the house working, at dinner time. But yeah, social wise, if I was to go out with friends for lunch or something, I just I would have just the steak or just the burger patties or something like that. If that's not available, if it's like a tofu restaurant or something, I'll just sit there with a nice coffee and enjoy the conversation.
Nice.
Cool.
Raymundo says, Dave, give it 3 months. You'll be interviewing somebody who has had a prostatectomy.
All right, I'll definitely try to get one of those guests.
him. You'll interview him in 3 months. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'd love to have you on, Raimundo.
Cool.
Okay, last question. Dave, what do you eat in a day?
I eat about a pound of ground beef, or a pound of thinly sliced beef, and about 6 to 8 eggs. And occasionally I'll chuck in a can of sardines. I'm trying to eat more sardines because I haven't been very good with the seafood, because I'm not crazy about the smell and stuff like that. So yeah, despite living in Japan, I've got seafood everywhere, but yeah.
Awesome.
I just want to say, we're ahead of Setsuko, you need to email Dave Mack, and he's gonna get you on
Setsuko,
his
very nice to
channel.
meet you. Hajimemashite.
I think we're done. Let's see.
Let's go ahead and do the giveaway.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Who's gonna win today? Kelly Broken Carnivore, congratulations. Please email me, alia@drkills.com with your shirt size and address, and we will get that shipped off to you forthwith. There you go. Congrats.
All right.
Congratulations.
Everyone continue to listen and learn from Dave Mack, master carnivore and man around the world. Any last moment, last comments, Dave, and last comments, Dr. Nelson?
Before Dave, just a reminder, 5:30 p.m. today or tonight, 5:30 Eastern time, our Zoom call within the community. It is free to join. If you're not a member, join the Kills Mighty Tribe, and we'll see you at 5:30 p.m. Dave, where can people find you?
My channel is No Carb Life, so you can search No Carb Life in YouTube or search on @0carb. That's how you find me.
One more question. Someone was sad we didn't get to it. Eliza, can I please ask what is okay to eat on the Lion diet? Sadly, I have 2 autoimmune disorders, tried different eating diets, even AIP protocol, and I'm still having issues. I've decided on Lion.
Just ruminant meat, yeah, and salt and water. So
Yep.
lamb, beef, goat. I don't know. Is camel a ruminant? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No.
Deer.
It's a
Camel's
pseudo.
not?
It is not a ruminant.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
But deer.
Yes. Ruminant meat,
Fermenters.
salt and water, and give it a try. Autoimmune diseases, Dave. You've interviewed a bunch of people, right?
Yep.
What happens to autoimmune diseases on carnivore diet?
Typically goes away. I've got an interview going live with someone in about 8 hours from now. Her autoimmune is all gone. Years of steroids, years of methotrexate, gone.
Poison ivy.
Awesome. Yeah.
Poison ivy, it's all it is. Poisoned
All
by
right.
plants.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
see
Dave.
everyone tonight, 5:30 p.m.
Cheers,
Eastern.
guys. Thanks for having me
Cheers,
on.
everyone.
Have a great
Bye.
day.